Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am here with a brand new video for you. And today I want to talk about the non-technical stuff. I know I talk to you a lot about risk assessment and risk identification and compliance reporting and all of those weird and wonderful concepts that form part of the compliance career profession. And those are very important. The technical skills are key. But today I want to talk to you about the non-technical skills that you need in order to survive and thrive in a compliance role. But before I jump into that, a reminder, 23rd of October is my final compliance workshop for 2024, where I will be taking you through those more technical things that I've just described, risk assessment, risk identification, monitoring and testing, hoping to make sure that you are well-versed and well-equipped to be able to be competent, knowledgeable, and effective in a compliance role. So sign up for the workshop. It's on the 23rd. Like I said, registration closes on the 21st. But if you register before the end of this month, this September, you will get a 15% off discount code. So be sure to do that. There's 5 days left in September. So make the best of them. And the code will be valid until the 21st of October. So join me. It's always fun. It's always a good time. And you will leave knowing what you need to know to be successful in a compliance role. Enough about that. We're excited, but we need to jump into this video. Okay. So like I said, we're going to be talking about 5 things that you need to hone, perfect, work on to make sure that you can be effective and succeed and thrive in a compliance role. And we're talking soft skills, non-technical skills, whichever turn of phrase you prefer. Okay, so let's jump straight in. Skill number 1, your interpersonal skills are really going to be key to your success. Your ability to become a trusted advisor, build those relationships within your business so that people trust you. They are proactive about coming to you and letting you know about challenges, issues, concerns before, they blow up. It's never a good thing when you're a compliance officer and somehow you're sitting in some class house, you have an arm's length approach, the business doesn't come to you with problems, you always kind of have to find out things on the back foot, but that's facilitated or avoiding that is facilitated by you having great interpersonal skills. Be proactive about engaging with your business. Is there anything that I can do for you? How can we be more efficient and increase our performance and better serve you as a compliance professional? Engage with people, meet them where they are, understand who people are, how they want to operate. You might have Jill who needs, 60 business days notice to sit down and have a conversation. You might have James who's happy to, for you to catch him in the elevator and give him the high points and he'll give you a decision right there and then. So it really just depends on your stakeholders that you're engaging with, but you have to understand that about them and operate accordingly. Appreciate that not everyone is the same, so you can't have a one-size-fits-all kind of approach. So that means you are the one who's going to have to be effective. And why this is important is because compliance is not the operators of internal controls. That's where your first line sits. So we can talk until the cows come home, but the doers are our business stakeholders, our sales guys, our operations guys, our tech guys. Those are the people who have to get things done. So you have to get them on side. So understand who needs what sort of information, when, how you can build a relationship with them. How will they know that if Kudzai is the one who's coming to them and saying, listen, this is urgent, they mean that it's urgent. You're not just playing wolf and making everything a crisis when it's not a crisis. So build those relationships, make sure that your stakeholders, your senior management trust you and know that when you say something is serious, it's serious. And if something can be managed without, burning the house down, that can happen. Interpersonal skills, are really important. So I always say to people, go to the company picnic, participate in the golf day, build those relationships, don't separate yourself from the business. It will help you be effective in terms of engaging with them during the course of BAU or crisis mode, because they know you, they understand how you work, they understand how you communicate, and vice versa for you. So interpersonal skills, super important. Make sure that you are engaging and building relationships. The second thing is communication. And this works hand in hand with interpersonal skills, I guess. But communication is more than just one thing or one way of communicating. You need to be able to communicate with your business in a way that enables them to, one, understand the risks that they are facing or that they need to be aware of clearly, and in plain language wherever possible. Again, stay away from the legalese, regulatories. I made that word up, it does not exist. Speak to them, communicate with them, and this is both written communication, so your emails and your reports, make them clear, understandable, with action points that they can, take forward. And in your meetings with them, your spoken communication, be clear, be confident in how you are delivering the message. Make sure that you are being understood. Give people the opportunity to ask questions and respond to the questions. If you don't have the answer right there in the room, just be like, listen, I've taken your question. It's something I need to look into, and I'll come back to you with a response within 24 hours, an hour, depending obviously on the nature of the query. And, I prefer to give you a thought through and accurate response than to kind of thumbs up. So it's about communicating to be understood and ensure that those who have to act on your advice are confident in your advice and understand your advice and take the right necessary next steps. So clear communication, very, very important. And then the third thing you're going to need to be is resilient. I cannot stress this enough. If you are already in compliance, you have probably come across the level of pushback that you are likely to face in your room, or just, people not understanding, what is it that you do? Why are you here? Or there's the reputation sometimes, or the narrative that compliance just says no to everything. We're the enemies of progress and all of that sort of stuff. So you have to be quite resilient in the face sometimes of that sort of resistance to what you are trying to get the business to do. Sometimes, even though you're a good communicator, you've got great interpersonal skills, it will still take time for people to come on board with what you need them to do. So it's about the long game. All of this is an investment in the long game sometimes. And yes, you can be lucky and have stakeholders who get it right from the jump. You don't really have to do a song and dance performance convincing situation, but somewhere along your career, you will come across the hard-headed type people. So you're going to have to be resilient in the face of that. And sometimes it is actually resilient in the face of pure aggression. Like, you will come across a person who is like, I don't care what you say, how you say it, how many times you try and convince me, this is rubbish. So you are going to have to be resilient and really just like stay the course and figure out how it is that maybe if someone is just not on board, how can you still get what you need done when you're facing a lot of resistance? So you yourself are going to have to be resilient. You cannot give up, because the consequences of us giving up can be dire. So very important that you have a resilient spirit, and you also need to be adaptable. Very, very important. Number 4, that you are able to adapt. The operating environment that we are in as compliance officers is changing rapidly. Technological innovation, doing businesses, business across borders, across continents, all these different type of things. And the businesses are always pushing boundaries, new products, new services. We want to be profitable, want to break even, whatever stage the business is in. So you need to be able to be adaptable to change very, very quickly. In fact, sometimes it's adaptable to leadership. Organizations have restructuring, and he who was in is now replaced by she who is in, and they have a completely different outlook on, governance, risk, and compliance, and, the value or lack thereof, or, maybe they are on side, whatever the case is, that the function brings. You might have been on the verge of your business case for investment being approved, and the approver, moves on to a different situation. So you now have to start all of that again and re-justify your needs. So you have to be adaptable. You can't just like, oh my gosh, the world is over, head in the sand because things have changed. Because everything changes. And a lot of the time, it changes very rapidly. Regulatory change, we all know we have to be well-versed in the skill of regulatory change management. So it's about being adaptable to the change in the business environment, the operating environment, the business itself, the people themselves that you work with. Don't just get yourself stuck in, I can only be effective if I'm working with this type of person, because people come and go, okay? So very important, just to recap before I go to the final one. Firstly, your interpersonal skills are key. They can make or break your success in a role, because it will say or help people to decide whether or not they want to work with you, right? And when I say interpersonal skills, one thing that's important to also note, it doesn't mean be a yes man and just be everybody's friend so that everybody likes you. You know, interpersonal skills means you also have to have the strength to be able to say no. And people understand that your no means no. Let's have the conversation. Let's have the debate. Let's have the discussion. I will hear you out, and I hope that you will hear me out. But the solidity, is that a word? The solid nature of your relationship will help you have that engagement, and they will respect you enough that when you say this is not the right way, they will understand that that is not the right way. They may still make a decision that is not aligned with your advice, but your relationships will make those conversations a lot more easier to have and less contentious. So just to add that onto the interpersonal skills topic. Communication, like I said, this is both your written and your spoken communication. Speak with confidence and be able to articulate yourself and be understood. Make sure you are understood. Saying it is one thing. It being understood is another thing. So good communication skills are essential. Resilience, because you're always at some point going to meet with pushback, resistance, sometimes even aggression. People just don't want to do it. You're going to have to be resilient in the face of things like that. And then adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to your changing environment, your changing business, and changing people, and to keep on mission. Last but not least, and very important, people think that legal, compliance, governance, audit, you know, all those type of internal control functions are so dull. But I really think that we need to tap into our creative side without a doubt, because creativity is the key to your success. There's many ways to achieve regulatory compliance, and you just have to allow yourself to think out of the box. You know, yes, 4 + 4 = 8, but so does 2 + 6, so does 1 + 7, so does 3.5 + 4.5. All of that gets you to the goal of 8 that you're trying to achieve. So as you are thinking about the different problems that you have, don't just say, this is how we do things in compliance. Period, point blank. Challenge yourself. Can we do things better? Can we be creative? Can we achieve regulatory compliance and the spirit and letter of what the law is trying to achieve, but in different ways? You know, like I said, many roads lead to Rome. I was about to say the cat one, but I think that's not cool. So just allow yourself to be creative. Don't be rigid in your thinking. Think laterally, like, who could I possibly talk to get a better solution than the one that we have? What technology can I use? What AI can I implement? You know, don't be too married to how you've always done things. We can be creative as compliance officers in our roles, but just allow yourself to think broadly and challenge yourself to come up with solutions for the organizations that you support that are not rigid and just, you know, this is how we've always done things. So those are the 5 things that I would say you should really look into in terms of yourself and say, how can I think more creatively? How can I make sure that I'm adapting to things quickly and responsive to change in the environments that I'm working in? How can I build relationships? How can I communicate better? And if you look at yourself and create development plans or see areas for growth and address those, you will absolutely be successful, obviously coupled with your technical skills. Be successful in a compliance role. So you can have great technical skills, but without the soft skills, it could fall flat. You're not going to really be able to elevate yourself in a compliance role. Or if you have just soft skills, you're a really great person, you talk well, you communicate, but your technical skills are lacking, that will still be problematic because you need to deliver on that front. So it's about working on yourself holistically, the technical and the soft skills. And that's why I thought it was really important to jump out of my technical side, which I talk about a lot on this channel, and just highlight to you that all skills, technical and non-technical skills, are important for success, effectiveness, and survival and thriving in a compliance role. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I look forward to doing more. If you've got topic suggestions as well, please pop them in the comments section. I'm always trying to think of things that might interest you, but if you let me know, makes my life a lot easier. But other than that, have a fantastic rest of the week. I will be back soon and very soon. Okay. Bye.